right, and that the people across the table when they're eating dinner are wrong and are fast asleep. So what this means is, well, what I'm trying to say is, go ahead, talk to people, make that small action yourself, no matter how small it is, because you never know where it's going to go and who it's going to touch. Now we all know that Bonnie Henry is covering up the truth. We know that masks don't work. We know that social distancing does not work. We know that isolating yourself in your basement when you're asymptomatic doesn't work. We know that cases are not sick people. There are currently 0 hospitalizations on Vancouver Island. There's nobody in the ICU, and we've only had 6 deaths on the whole island. So why are we preventing families from visiting their loved ones in long-term care homes and in the hospitals?
Agenda 21!
There's no sense in this.
No one in hospital since June.
It's absurd. We recognize that. And we've got to help to open the eyes of all the people we meet. Even if you lose friends and your family won't talk to you anymore after all those discussions, it's time to speak out and make a change. And we will do that. Medicine, my colleagues, the hospitals, the experts, the Ministry of Health, particularly the Public Health Office, they've been captured. They've been captured by Big Pharma. We know that. Medical practice is a revolving door of people being given pills. It's controlled by pharma, as are all our journals. If you've seen the retracted articles that have come out in JAMA, but also New England Journal of Medicine and The Lancet, you'll realize that, as the editors admit, the journals that we trust in so much have been stolen from us. They belong to Big Pharma, who calls the shot. They own those journals, and they own our institutions. Their tentacles reach far into them, so far that for us, it's such a big lie, it's almost impossible to believe.
That's why so many people don't believe.
That's true. The bigger the lie, the more difficult it is to believe that it is a lie. But you know, it's such a wonderful thing to be among warriors here. People that are clear thinking. People that are standing up for their rights and their freedoms. People that are willing to swim against the stream and stand up for their children and their children's children. There are some doctors out there that are thinking just like you. But you know, the college holds a big sword over their head. If they lose their licenses, they won't be able to put food on the table, feed their families, and they won't have a long career in helping people, which is what the majority of doctors go into medicine to do. Many of us have been programmed. We've learned to trust our experts without examining them. And we've been trained to hand out prescriptions rather than to think deeply as to what people really need. You know, ever since electronic medical records came into the office, doctors were tapping away on keyboards and stopped looking at their patients.
Oh, yeah.
Then they got sent home to avoid COVID exposure, and were seeing their patients over a computer screen. Then, over a telephone. Now, you know, doctors are getting further and further divorced from their human patients. It's a sign of where we're going in medicine. It's a big danger. We're losing the human touch. And you know, so much I can say as a doctor of 42 years, so much of what we do in the office is not giving out a prescription, or any type of medicine, in fact, whether it's natural or unnatural. What we do is we sit there and listen to patients quietly, listen to their stories, pat them on the back, hold their hand, even examining them. And that's the human touch. That's what we're losing in medicine and what is most important.
That's love.
Medicine has got to come down, just like all the other institutions. We need a change. Pharma's a big player in this, driving it. As with vaccines, Bill Gates, you guys know the players who are behind the scenes. This is not a COVID issue. This is a world domination issue, an attempt to destroy humanity by separating us, by masking us, by gagging us, by putting us in our basements, and then giving us a shot in the arm to make it all better. This is an attempt to trace us through 5G surveillance, to make us obey our masters, the 1%. I used to think electric cars were a great thing. But now I know that electric cars can be turned on and turned off from a distance. So just imagine, you can't leave your city, you can't drive to your office, you can't pick up your kids at school because you're not doing what you're told.
Never.
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 1984. $100 billion, Mark.
Human touch.
So what are we going to do about it? I think you know what we're going to do about it. I think what Linda said is exactly right. We're going to have to stand up and say no. We don't need to be angry or to be hateful. We don't need to be like them. We need to be like us. And we need to be the best of us. Which means that we have to eventually have forgiveness for these people.
I hope.
We have to recognize that they are human and that they're corruptible just like we can be. We don't have to be doormats for them. We have to stand up to them, but we were going to have to forgive them in the end for all the things that they're doing to us right now and in the future. When you look around and see people on the street wearing masks, and you look above and look in their eyes and you see how frightened they are, how fearful they are, well, we have our own fears. For doctors, we have the fear of the college. We have the fear of losing our license and not speaking up for what we feel is true. We have to overcome that in ourselves, just like other people have to overcome their fear of contagion and take off their masks.
Yes.
This is an internal journey for us, and it's an external journey. We cannot neglect our internal journey because that's what we're going to be when we're asked to replace the medical system, to replace the people at the Ministry of Health, to replace the politicians. We have to be golden. We have to be the best we can be. So when we replace this old paradigm with a new one, with a better one, that we're ready to do that. So what is my message to you? Again, I'm just a GP. I'm not a bigwig in any way. But what I've done is just send out a letter. And it has moved people to the conviction that what they know is true.
Thank you.
So I would encourage you all to fight against any fear you find in yourself. Fear of speaking up, fear of losing friends, fear of many things, any anxieties, fear of death. We have to go there to make ourselves the best we can be. And so that is my last word to you as warriors. The fight is inside, the fight is outside, and we will win.